Hey, this is indeed Walt from the Comic Book Men, and you're listening to the iWalter Show.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Okay, hey, this is Walter from iWalter. Hopefully I don't sound too loud. Let me just check my levels because I'm not going to repeat myself again. It is actually 3:30. Yeah, I got to turn this down just a little bit and turn up my headset a lot. Okay, this is much better, I think. Yeah, you know what? I just got a new laptop today. Did I really need it? Well, actually, I wanted something to kind of alleviate a little bit of the problems I was having with my Windows computer. So now I got two. It's still one of those Star Wars laptops, but this one actually has got a separate graphics chip, GPU, built into it. And this is the one I originally wanted to get. It was just so freaking expensive. Now they're starting to discontinue these limited edition Star Wars laptops. Now, the thing I like about it, one is, yeah, it's because, obviously, it's a Star Wars laptop. Two, it actually is very light. It's very maneuverable. I mean, I had taken it on my trip to Red Bank. Sorry, I'm adjusting my mic stand, which is not a good idea while you're doing a show. Trust me, don't do this at home, kids. Seriously, though. Yeah, it's just that sometimes it kind of gets bogged down. Now, the system I have right now is almost pretty much equivalent to what I had on my Mac computer. You know, they both got, I believe, i5 chipsets. They both have about the same amount of RAM at this point, I'm pretty sure. And then they both have both NVIDIA chipsets. Now, you're probably saying, why do you need a graphics chip just to do audio? Well, your audio has some, and your OS is actually graphically interfaced. Now, by default, most of these systems, which I always turn off when they have chips, they now have both systems have Intel graphics chip and the NVIDIA graphics chip. Well, I always try to go for the NVIDIA graphics chip because, you're probably saying, well, why do you need that? That's only for games and stuff, right? No, actually, at this point, your GPU actually runs your OS as well. Your operating system takes up a lot of power. And by default, especially under Windows, it's going to run everything on the Intel and just keep your other GPU, the one that both systems have, my Mac and now my newer Apple laptop. They basically both run, the GPU will run the OS as well because it's graphically interfaced. That really can slow down your system, and sometimes it does kind of make things a little bit rough when you're trying to record even just audio. Believe it or not, I've seen the difference. So that was a problem once in a while. It was just kind of bogging it down. Now, the thing was, Micro Center had this particular computer. It was an open box, they called it. And originally it was like $700 or $800. It was marked down because it was an open box. And plus they discontinued this. Micro Center, HP made this particular design only for a limited amount of time for the, promotion of the new Star Wars movie, the whole Star Wars hype. But I ended up getting one on eBay that was supposed to be brand new, but the guy didn't tell me it was actually used. And it was very nice. It actually worked really well. But the problem I had, though, was, it actually ran really good. I actually recorded all my my podcast off that particular machine. Now tonight I'm using my newer one. So, having a separate GPU, not one that is basically working with, the Intel chipset on both video and graphically, it definitely alleviates a lot of the stress off the CPU. It actually does, and it does run a little bit smoother, I'll tell you that much. And when I changed it over from the Intel graphics to the NVIDIA, I did notice, even on the desktop, it's not the most powerful GPU. You can't play, you can't have everything at high specs if you do decide to play games on this particular chipset. But for basic gaming, it's great. And actually for things that are a little bit graphically intense nowadays, it's perfect. It's basically your consumer grade or your entry level for gaming, but it actually is perfect for everything else on your desktop. Now, the part that kind of upset me tonight, and I did do my research. Now, I was going to keep both laptops because they're going to both become collector's items. Now, a friend that works said, that's not going to be the case. Walter, these CPUs are going to be out of date, and so are the GPUs. And it's like, yeah, you're right. And he says, all you have is just basically the husk, the shell of the computer that's all dressed up to look like themed out for Star Wars. And he's kind of right, but honestly, then I thought about it. I was like, you're kind of right, but you're not totally right, because you really think about it. Believe it or not, now that's apples and oranges. I realize that. But you look at the original apples. Those things are completely useless. Even the original, they were like clamshell Apple laptops. They're actually obsolete because they're so freaking slow. So believe it or not, to buy one of those in mint condition, you're talking for the Apple clamshell laptops that are completely useless, like most Apple products that are really old. You can't really use them, but there are collectors out there. Now that's a different story. You're going to find a collector who's going to buy this stuff. You probably will if you place it on eBay or something, but that stuff goes for the Apple original laptops. Those actually, the ones they called the clamshell, they weren't the original ones, but they were, pretty popular. That was when Steve Jobs got back in the mix after he got fired from his own company. Well, those go for, sorry about that, it's hit my mic stand. Those, believe it or not, folks, go for about $5 or $10,000, about $5,000, say the least. And if you get an original Apple I, Apple II, then you're talking close to a couple $100,000. That's no joke, and they're actually completely useless. So how does this fit in what I got? Well, the HP Star Wars laptops, I'm just going to assume, since they only made a limited run of them, and they've actually already stopped after about, May now, and they only started running them in mid, I would say the last quarter of last year. So they only ran them from November, I'm going to say, maybe October, but I think it was more like November, December, January, February, March, April, May. They're already they stopped before May. So, you got, 5 months already in this month, or let's see, because I can't remember off the top of my head. January, February, March, April. 5 months already of this month. So the run only ran it for about 7 months, and they stopped making them. That's the way computers go, though. But this particular model will stand out amongst other ones from HP. That's what they were hoping. And they actually aren't bad computers. I said that before. I actually had no problem. Yes, I am taking swallows of my iced tea. Swallow. But yeah, this one has a little bit now more power. Now, the only thing that got me upset, I did order one from Best Buy. Now, get this though, the one I ordered from Best Buy, I figured, well, I got 12 months to pay it off. The one for Best Buy was a lot more money though. It was I think $800. Now, that didn't come with any warranty. Now, there was one at Micro Center. It was a little over $500. That's a lot of money, but you're getting one with a terabyte hard drive, Intel graphics, NVIDIA graphics, and an i5 core chip that was it's the last round of iCore chips, Intel. Let's see. Let's just look at it. Yeah, iCore chips. So the one I got from my, Best Buy I have not received it yet. I already asked him, can I return this because I'm not going to take it out of the box. I just want to return it because I found one that, for price value, it's about the same. The performance is going to be like less than, I would say, 1 or 2%. So it's not worth the extra money. Now, the other one did have an i7 chip in there. But at this point, the thing that makes an i7 better than an iCore 4, or i5, excuse me, there's an i3 too, by the way, is the i5 actually has a dual core with hyper-threading turned on. So the thing about that one makes it interesting. So it runs as though it's a 4-processor chip, even though it only has 2 physical processors. And it actually does run as though it has 4 chips. Now, the i7 normally has 4 cores with hyper-threading turned on the chipset, which basically gives it, basically they call them threads. So you have 4 cores, 4 physical processor cores with, I guess it would be 8 threads, but either way, it's it turns out that it runs as though the machine's running 8 physical processors, even though it has 4. That's a lot of horsepower. So normally that's a big deal. Now, for some reason, the mobile ones on these particular models only have 2 cores, and I guess there would be 4 cores, 4 threads, or 2 cores, 2 threads. Well, the i5 and the i7 both have 2 cores and 2 threads, which means it only acts as though it's a 4-processor chip. So there's really not that much of a difference. Speed-wise, there's a little bit. Oh, there's an extra meg of cache on the chip. That does make a slight difference, but you're going from 3 megs of cache to 4 megs of cache for an extra $400, $300. In that fact, it's kind of a little expensive. Now, the thing that got me mad when I kind of brought that to their attention at the Micro Center store. I went to Micro Center. I got the one that was an open box because it was actually marked down $200 from the normal price that they were selling a brand new one. I was like, well, for that price to be marked down that much, I'm going to take it. It has the Intel processor. And I'll either put it on eBay or ask a friend at work if he's interested in buying yet another computer. I will sell it for about $400 for whoever is interested. The one without the Intel, not the Intel, it does have Intel, but the NVIDIA chipset. If they don't mind it for just a basic desktop, it's perfect. And it's actually a collector's item, in my opinion, even though the one friend at work doesn't. Otherwise, and that's another thing, if anybody is interested and does listen to me, the other one has a full damage warranty on there. That's why I'm selling it for $400, because the warranty alone costs me an extra $200. So, that means, and I got the same thing on the new one I got. But I got, I'm going to kind of calculate how much I need to spend a week to pay it off within 6 months, because it was a lot cheaper. If it was more money, I would have had 12 months. Now, the thing is, both these machines I have, both these Star Wars HP laptops, both actually, if I spill something or, tear the cord or accidentally crack the screen or just accidentally drop it and smash the machine, I'll get my full refund or a replacement for absolutely free. Now, the one I'm trying to sell, you have to send back to HP, which they don't ever have a problem with it. They generally will fix whatever is broken in the matter of days, because I know a friend who bought an HP, and he was really happy with it. The new one I got from Micro Center, I got their damage protection, which means I just return it to the store. I'll drive over to St. David's and get it fixed right away. Or a matter of days, but they'll fix it either way or to replace it. And I'll tell you one thing, the reason I don't mind spending extra cash from Micro Center for their damage protection is because I got this old Apple laptop, which if I go on the road, I'm going to take that laptop because there's certain things I like doing on there I can't do on the PC. certain programs that only Apple can offer that, Windows doesn't have it because it's exclusively for, Apple only, just to let you know. So I didn't get to the gist. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize that was going to open up. Certain programs do open up without my knowledge, so I apologize about that. That probably came through. There's certain things I'm still trying to work out. But yeah, just to give you a heads up, this Apple laptop, it was a used laptop. I bought it for like $200, I think $250 to be exact. This Apple laptop, it's a 2010 model. It's an excellent computer, by the way. See if I can close out my taskbar so nothing else will open up without my knowledge, my know-how. I hope. Okay, close toolbar. Okay, that should take care of that. So anyway, this laptop I paid $250 for. I spent an extra, I think it was like $150. God, it's a lot of money you're going through, Walter, for damage on this laptop. Maybe it was less because it's only prorated from what you pay for the machine. Well, so far, I've replaced the used laptop. When the first one I got, I had problems with it. With another one, cost me nothing. One hard drive that cost him $130, replaced for free. One power cord, which was $100 and some change dollars. And that was for free. And I had brought it back today to get another power cord because it was my own fault, but I wrapped the cord around the power cord for the Apple machine. Around, there's a little thing you can loop it around. The cable to the power cord. There's a way you can loop it around. Well, that actually made the cable break. So it's got like the wire is coming out. There's nothing wrong with it. It just got frayed. It got pinched. So most likely in the next day or so, I'll hear back from Micro Center, hey, we found out that your power cord was, damaged, so we're going to give you a new one for free again. So if that happens, I would have gotten my money back, not only for my warranty, but I'm actually getting the computer for free too, because the amount of parts that they've replaced out of pocket has what can I say? It cost them more for replacing all the parts they fixed at this point. I mean, it was one laptop, would be two power cords, and one hybrid hard drive, 1 terabyte hybrid hard drive was replaced in that particular machine. That now it's costing them a leg and an arm just to keep up with the warranty they sold to me. I have a feeling eventually you're going to tell me, Micro Center, hey, listen, we can't afford to give you any more stuff because you're costing us 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the amount of money that you've actually spent on this machine. We're just going to give you your money back for your, we're just not going to honor this, even though it's good for another year and some change. I mean, I've abused that warranty so much so far, it makes baby Jesus cry. I don't know. It's just really bad. So I don't do this stuff intentionally, but I also know I can get my money's worth at what I buy. At this point, I don't know where that's going to stop, though, honestly. I think eventually, sorry, I'm looking away from my mic, that they're going to say, listen, you're just costing us way too much fucking money, Walter. In fact, don't buy any more warranties where you know you're going to get your money's worth and we're going to get screwed in the end. So it's kind of funny for me. That's why I like the Micro Center offers. Now, here's the thing that kind of got me a little mad. I'm trying to convince myself, well, do I really need that much power for just doing podcasts and basic stuff on the desktop? I looked at I'm going to do it again, Micro Center's website. Here when they were looking for my computer, the one they sold to me, an open box one, they stumbled upon, the grandiose Star Wars HP laptop. They had one in stock. It said online they were sold out until I told the guy, yeah, you're sold out of these. They had an i7 with 12 gigs of RAM. Like this one I have has 8 gigs of RAM. The other one I have that is going to just be a dust collector at this point if I can't sell it. Yeah, here's the original price was $700. It is now on sale. The one I'm not going to be using anymore because I actually transferred all my information over now. One last thing I got was Office for this. I got it pretty cheap on eBay, but it's one of these deals that the guy's kind of shady. And he sold me something that now he gave me a license number that was been used way too many times, so they won't let me use it again. So I wrote the guy back on eBay. This is for Microsoft Office. I mean, basically got it for $50. The program's worth about $300, so you can't really complain. But at the same time, I try to make an ass out of the guy and say, listen, that program you sold me has a serial number I can't use. So, hey, you either give me my money back or, I'll just report you. As simple as that. Which he'll get himself in trouble more or less for selling something that was, he claimed is, legitimate, and it isn't. He's going to have to buy another license, basically. It's going to cost him more money anyhow. But he'll be able to sell it off like 5 more times. Who knows? 30 more times and get some money out of it. But that's a different story. The machine I have right now is a little bit more powerful underneath the hood. That's perfect. It wasn't that expensive. Now, the one I want to sell is going to still be under cost because brand new you can buy one for $550. That's about what I paid when I bought this one used on HP, but it's got a full 2-year warranty, practically most of it left. And it's not bad. It's just not really powerful. It does a lot. I did most of my podcasts for the last 6 months on that damn thing, and it worked fine. It's just that, I wanted that little extra, headroom, which now I do have. But the one I did get, though, is retails was originally $800. The one that I have right now that I'm using. That one is actually the same thing underneath the hood, minus that it does have 2 gigs more of RAM, which isn't that great, but it's not bad. Everything else is exactly the same, but it also then, in addition to the 8 gigs of RAM, does have the NVIDIA chipset. That does make a world of difference. So right now, if I would have bought that brand new, it would have been $650, which I got at about $100 and some change less. Now, the part that got me a little angry, though, like I said, HP, when they were looking for my computer, because they put it up right away, then when they figured out at St. David's, wait a minute, we still have another one in stock we didn't realize we had. It was buried, I guess. That one was $750. So from what I paid today, that's about $200 and some change more than what I paid, which give or take. Now, I got a 2-year damage warranty, too, which I need at this point because I'm pretty rough on computers. Now, the difference is, though, that does have the iCore 7 chip. Again, the difference in performance is literally about 1 or 2%. You're not talking that much of a major difference, depending on what programs you're using. I don't think I use any of the ones that are drastically going to make a world of difference. Now, the big difference was it did have 12 gigs of RAM, so that would be double what I had on my original one. And again, once again, it does have the NVIDIA chipset on board. So, give or take, would it be worth the extra $200? Because I could always return this one. The only thing is, now I got all these programs that I paid for, and I did transfer them already once. Would I be able to transfer them once again onto another computer? Do I want to spend extra $200? That's all questionable. I don't know. I mean, the NVIDIA chipset, yeah, that made a big, big difference. Trust me. Performance-wise, everything just literally kind of just flies, without a doubt. I mean, yeah, that made a difference. So, that being said, yeah, I kind of like what I have. So, I wanted to kind of just go into that. The real difference is, yeah, because I had some sluggishness here and there. See, when you have Intel graphics, they are better, don't get me wrong, but they still have, they're far behind NVIDIA. NVIDIA makes much better, processors. Actually, I got to check. I was downloading some files and I actually shut it off now, so not a smart idea. Let's see, because I'll look at the chipset in here right now once it opens up. And now I have everything running under my what do you call it, chip? Let me just see. I'll do it the easy way, the old-fashioned way. Because I'm running Windows 10 and an i5-6200 CPU at 2.3 gigahertz, 2.4, 8 gigs of RAM. It's a 64-bit OS. Both machines actually have that the same. The part I was actually interested in is actually what the GPU was from NVIDIA. I thought I could look it up a little easier. Let me chew it again. Let's see, back. Usually it kind of tells you, system information. That probably is what I need. Let's see. GPU. I don't know if it quite tells me. Part number. Total amount of RAM. 2 gigs is dedicated to the GPU, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Just don't know which. It's the control panel. I'll have to display components. Yeah, let's see. Generation 4. Sorry about that, folks. I thought I could kind of get right to the gist. Just says it's all the NVIDIA garbity goop, which I don't really quite understand. Thought I'd go right to cut to the chase. No, it actually does not. And I actually put my box. I'm saving the box because this one I actually do have a box for. So I might just have to look it up. Let's see. Micro Center. Special edition. I think it's a 940 GPU is the NVIDIA number specs. Let me look. 'Cause I'm actually looking on the website now. Again, the big difference is it's not the most powerful GPU, but it is NVIDIA. They make good GPUs. And it does, because I know on all my computers now, they are all of them, PC and Macs, laptop or desktop, are all running NVIDIA processors for the GPU. And it actually does. Yes, it's the NVIDIA GeForce 940 Mobile. So that's supposed to be the 940 Mobile, I think is, let's see, because I have one on my desktop, which is actually a full graphics card about this Mac. It's running, let's see, GeForce GTX 770 with 2 gigs of RAM. So, yeah, I mean, see, that alone, it's not like the most powerful chipset, but it's not bad. It says the GPU engine, I'm looking right on NVIDIA's website, performance score is up to 4 times. Memory specs DDR3. That's just on the GPU itself. NVIDIA Optimus support, yes. NVIDIA GPU Boost 2.0, it has. GameWorks support, yes. DirectX 12 API, it does have. It uses its own format called CUDA. It doesn't mean much to many people. But the bottom line is, it's not a bad GPU. It's actually a pretty sweet one for what it's worth. And it is put in most of your notebooks and laptops. Now, I would probably would take NVIDIA over the top of ATI. I've had NVIDIA in the past, ATI in the past, and they're not bad. Well, I should say, did I say that right? ATI. AMD, I should say. ATI was the old company. Now it's just ATI. AMD now, who owns ATI for video cards, because I mentioned before, aren't bad. They're not the greatest, but they're not bad. They're like, they kept NVIDIA straight for years. Now they're not much of a competition. And again, the GeForce 940 mobile chip for your, it's integrated right onto the motherboard. So if anything goes wrong, you kind of, they're kind of stuck with that. But you know what? I've had the older NVIDIA chipsets on a lot of my systems, like those Mac Minis I should say, because I gave one to my dad and one to my mom. They had the older GPUs in those for those systems, and they worked actually fine. And in fact, I have the same chipset, the older model GPU from NVIDIA, in my Apple laptop, which I don't have on me right now. And they're actually not that bad at all. They're not like spectacular, but they're not bad. And I'm looking at for game, and it says that GeForce, the highest end, is the 950 mobile. The 940 is the second one, the one I have, and the 840. It's kind of running not that much slower. It's running about like 1% slower. Maybe they have newer ones, but the 940 is not that bad. It's not spectacular. If you want a gaming laptop, that's probably where you want to be for, you're not going to have everything maxed out. Now, I'm not going to be playing many games. I mentioned this before, but what I will be doing, I will let you know now, I just want to take some of the burden off the system because it was hanging up just a tad bit here and there. As I take another swallow. So I just wanted to make that clear. Now, if I don't really have the extra money, I don't know what's even going on with my job. I don't know why I did this. Maybe this is just nervous spender, whatever you call it, or just what I always like to do, which is spend money. But, I do this because I try to keep everything kind of up to date, too, also with my computer systems. And, if I continue, I'm not making any money. I'm actually losing tons of money. I'm doing these podcasts at this point. Okay. View order details, context, Canada Post. Okay, this guy just got back to me. I guess he's going to ship me out something else. I don't know. Because I complained that he sold me a bad copy, so he's going to ship me one out, probably brand new. I don't know. Maybe just give me a new number. Trying to figure it out right now. I guess he's just going to give me a different number. Yeah, the guy's just going to get, I guess, because I didn't mean to do that. I don't mean to be a prick. I know I can be when I want to, but you know what? You pay like even $50. It's not a lot of money, but that guy just kind of really, he's going to probably just give me another number, I guess. I just told him, like listen to the one you gave me. Had a bad serial number. No offense. I mean, it's not his fault. Well, maybe it is. So I apologize, but sometimes you have to be kind of like a dick to people, I guess. I don't know. So, but yeah, I've noticed, by the way, in the past, you do want to use, you want to use the NVIDIA chipsets, on your stuff because it does make a difference. I'm telling you that right now. It definitely makes a difference. It kind of alleviates. Like my best system actually before, if I have to, as my backup. Not as good actually because a lot of these programs work much better. Believe it or not, they work much, much better on Windows because a lot of these programs, I'm afraid to say, especially the audio programs, unfortunately, are actually designed for Windows and then they make them for Mac. Now, for video editing and most other production work, I would, hands down, I would take most of the, I thought I felt something on me. Most of the stuff I do, I'd rather use a Mac. That's why I keep both up to date, or at least as close as possible for that matter. But personally, certain things work decent or better on Windows, and other things just work much better on Macs. And, I go back and forth. I honestly do. Like, some of my stuff I do like using a Mac for. I'm using a Mac to do right now just to look at web pages and stuff for stories, which I can't find any. But personally, by far, Mac does a better job on everything else, and it does it a lot smoother. And it's a lot easier. Once you learn how to maneuver your Mac, you don't want to go back, but no puns intended. But I do use both, so I can't say that. I was trying to be funny. Not very good job either. So, yeah, what was I going to say? I did mention, by the way, I did spend my weekend, well, at least from Thursday until just last night. I would have came back actually today. I was actually in Blairstown. Now that's a different story. I have some, a little bit of gripes about. I did mention this to a friend, and I want to go into that. I just want to go off. I guess this girl, her birthday's today. My birthday. Got to write her happy birthday. I'm doing that right now. I think her name's Laura. Yeah, Laura Croft. Happy birthday. Laura. Because she's from another country, so technically it would be her birthday today. She's 20 years old. So that's cool. She's the one who actually initiated this whole... I'm trying to think. This whole thing with that Lady Gaga webpage kind of thing, like, oh god, that is pretty scary. It's pretty funny. Some comedy video thing, but yeah, she's the one who started like the big. Like, she's a big fan of Lady Gaga. I think a little too much almost, but more so than I could possibly say. I mean, that's pretty bad. That's really, really bad, actually. But hey, it's her birthday. She's only 20, and she tries to look like Lady Gaga. She's got more tattoos in the last so many years. I thought you have to be a certain age to get tattoos. Maybe not nowadays, but I thought back in the past you would have to be. But either way, hey, happy birthday to that Laura. I think her name's Croft or something like that. But she turned 20, I believe, today. So probably yesterday to her time. Who knows? But either way, that's like really cool. So I think I did mention, I apologize. I don't want to have to be repeating myself. So I apologize if I do, but I did mention, like, yeah, I really wanted this i7. I'm going to get one in the mail. i7 chipset, what do you call it? Star Wars laptop, which I am not going to keep. It was funny today. I'm actually getting a little bit better. I'm not saying I'm like making quantum leaps, but I got compulsive for a while there. Like, I've been buying these movies on the steel box version from Best Buy, and then I buy these other limited editions from other places. I did that for Star Wars. I did it. Like, I bought a multitude of different Star Wars versions. Like, well, okay, I opened up one. The other ones just stayed in the packaging, and it's not worth that much, at least. I mean, yeah, certain things, it's kind of worth it. Other things, yeah, you're kind of getting a little carried away. So I kind of started doing that with Deadpool. I got the steel box, and I got this limited edition one from Target, and it was like, okay, do I really need to keep both copies? Because one's just going to sit there. It's not going to go that far. It's just going to stay, and then after a while, you get all this stuff. It's great, but you have no room to store it. And it's like, okay, I'll buy the steel box. I had it paid off. I just had to pick it up and say, okay, I want that. Then I thought about it. I was like, okay, this is great, but after a while, I'm going to have a collection of stuff, and then if I want to sell it off, it's not going to be as much worth as much as what I paid for. Unless you're actually like the computer stuff, I'll find a use for it. So I use the stuff there. Movies, though, I end up selling them off for a big loss. So in that case, I figured, you know what? Maybe I'll just, I didn't open it. I'm not going to take it out of the store. I went to the customer service desk and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to just return this before I even, put it in my hands. And they said, that's fine. If you really want to do that, we're just going to return it at the price you paid for it. It was like, yeah, I better, because otherwise I'm just wasting more money. So that was like $25 or something that I got put back on my credit card. So now I go towards something else, that I need, And when I returned this HP laptop, Star Wars Limited Edition I got from my Best Buy, that or go back on my card, it'd be a zero balance at that point. It'd be like a negative balance. So all I have to worry about is the one I just picked up at Micro Center, which this one I will keep. The only thing is, like I said, I almost kind of wish, I would have, one for the grandiose, but in some ways, you almost got to figure out, okay, what is the point that it's like too much for what you're doing? Because the one thing that's the benefit about audio is not going to change that much drastically more. Yeah, they do add to the programs. They get a little bit more heavier, the programs, but you can get away with stuff. It's a little bit more forgiven with audio programs than it is with video or probably your whatever. I'm trying to think. Probably like even it's less forgiving with your desktop, because that does get graphically constantly a little bit more intense all the time. So that being said, yeah, that's why you want to be a little bit, maybe even more, which I would have done if I had the extra money, but I kind of don't. As far ahead of that window as possible. How far do you need to get ahead? That's a different story. I'm not quite sure, honestly. Of how much headroom do you want? So, what can I say? How much headroom do you want so you're not like putting more money, in a few years? I want it to last more than just a few years. I want it to last a long time. And at least 2 years on 2 systems I have, they're fully covered. And I'd like to keep both Star Wars laptops, but one, realistically, I just don't have the room. 2, there's nothing wrong. This one actually is a little bit more, obviously, yeah, it's definitely much more, I'm trying to think, responsive than my other one was. So that to me is, that's a plus. That's what I want. Something that's a little, that I'm not kind of getting a little bit jammed up. Because when you're doing something, you don't want it to kind of like get hiccup all the time. Because it comes up when you're trying to do like a podcast. You're here once in a while. There's a little bit of a delay here and everything. So, sorry, somebody just commented. I don't know about what. I think it was because I said happy birthday to that girl, Laura. So, no, nobody liked it. Just somebody else wrote on her thing. So, yeah, so that part is kind of, why what I just said. I just lost my train of thought. I just got distracted from this girl, Laura, just celebrating her birthday. I don't know where she's exactly from, honestly. I know it's somewhere probably like around Germany, somewhere around that area, so to speak. So anyway, before it gets too late, because it is like 4:12 now today, I will be hopefully home at a decent time. I was going to actually wait until Monday night to do a show. Why? Because we have what's called a ratification meeting and for a contract, which that's actually one thing I do want to bring up, though, by the way, because it was kind of almost entertaining to say the least, but I kind of feel, this is my opinion though, but I think our union kind of pulled a fast one on many people, and people are just plain naive to the fact that what's going to happen now. We're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place at this point, to say the least. But what they did, our union company, is they waited literally until Thursday of last week, because now it's going to be Monday. So Thursday of last week, they waited that long, and then they said, "Oh, by the way, there were some changes to the contract we didn't tell you about." So, but I looked at the changes, and it said that was done on May 3rd. Well, our contract, coming to a agreement on a contract with ourselves and our company, ended on the end of April, the last day of April. So the thing was, they should have had everything wrapped up. I think it only lasted like a day or a couple days later that they kind of made some changes in the contract. So here's the real clincher, though. It was only a few days after they came to a complete agreement on what was going to be said and done. It was like literally 3 days after the fact that they had, made some changes. There were some things that they did not, get for us that we thought we had, but we really did not get. And I want to explain a couple of those because I don't think it's going to hurt. I don't think it's going to hurt. I think it's just ridiculous, though. But they didn't release those updates literally until Thursday. So this happened on May 3rd. It was, Thursday was May 12th. And then they say, oh, yeah, here are some of the changes we forgot that we need to post to let you know. So, it's kind of, to say the least, it was entertaining because some of the changes were, I made this joke with people at my job. My one friend sure know what I'm talking about, probably. Maybe, because I don't know if I mentioned in front of her, but I was joking, and people said, well, I wasn't joking. I was being sarcastic, to say the least. But I said, oh, yeah, these parts that in our contract, basically what you're going to find out what it actually trickles down to being, it's going to say it's part of the Affordable Health Care Act or Obamacare. So people are saying, oh, well, and people are getting upset about that when I said that as even a sarcastic remark or a joke, whatever you want to call it. So here's the part that's kind of funny, and then people are saying, oh, Walter's just joking. He doesn't mean anything by it. I looked at our contract, and they said, well, okay, if your insurance goes beyond what the company is willing to pay out, like you're out on sick leave or something's just going on now. Some type of warning, you got a virus. Yeah, right. Not really. It's just trying to get you to buy this program, which I have to remove. So, anyway, wow, I really over-oscillated. Sorry about that, folks. I really got to get rid of this one program. It's driving me nuts. So, it was funny on this revision of our contract. Let's say you you got to go in the hospital. You're going to be out for 6 months. Would be like long-term or short-term disability as we know it. What was I going to say? That, we're cover some. Well, one thing is what they're going to do with our new contract is if you're out for that period of time, like you're going to be out for 6 months or a year or whatever, you're going to go under no longer, like our company used to pay us our wages. That's no longer the case. We're going to get paid whatever the government pays out for a person who's out on some type of disability. So if you're out on sick leave or if you get an operation done, like serious surgery, you're no longer going to be covered at the wages that you originally paid, got paid like your full, what do you call it? Your full labor grade, or I'm trying to think of the right word, like your full salary. You're going to get whatever the government would give you if you were out. So just say at this point that the government only pays you $14 an hour for unemployment benefits or something, for being unemployed or out on sick leave. Or if it's $10. I don't really know what it is, honestly. That's going to be your pay. So if you're used to getting paid any more than that, well, you're shit out of luck if you're out on a medical leave. And it could possibly lead, because my dad actually looked at this contract we have. You're going to have to get retrained if you, because there's going to be elimination of jobs they did not announce before. They said there's going to be nobody losing their job this time. But yet, in the new revised contract, which they got 3 days after the fact, our union, they did not mention that there's going to be, I think, so many people. I thought my father said it was up to 30 people going to be, their jobs are going to be eliminated. This was after the fact that there's going to be no jobs eliminated. They waited until Thursday to give us this news, though. So you really have to read the fine print. That was one thing. Two was, if you go over, what do you call it? What the company's willing to pay out for your surgery or anything else, like if your medical bills go beyond the point of what our company's willing to pay, well, then you're going to fall under. It says for any other expenses, if you become like a high risk person on what you spend on our company allows you on insurance, you will automatically be placed on the Affordable Health Care Act. Now, that is Obamacare. So you're automatically, if you're too high, you're costing too much, you're going to drop not only under for being out for surgery or something. That's one thing. You're going to be paid through the state, not through the company any longer, which that is also part of the Affordable Health Care Act. Because the whole point of Obamacare, by the way, is basically to have the companies no longer be held accountable for paying for people's insurance, which everybody has to have, thanks to our government. But also, the government set up a twofold system. One, they made it that all companies have to, for any full-timer, pay for that individual's insurance. That's number one. And number two was you would also you have that choice because you're forced to, as a company person, you have to pay for that individual's insurance if they're full-time. That means anybody with 40 hours or less, which that's going to change. That has, with a lot of companies, they cut back to like 32 hours a week. That's going to become full-time. That's going to be a problem too. But the other issue, though, is how the twofold, how that comes in, by the way, is that what they're due is the government with Obamacare. Well, okay, you can't afford to pay the insurance, or you don't want to pay this insurance now that you're forced to. Well, I'll tell you what, we're taking it off your hands. The government will. We're taking it off your hands, and we're allow you. If you have so many people or less, you can put these people that you can't afford to pay for their insurance or not willing to. You can give them Obamacare instead, which means you're going to be paying a lot more money for insurance for a hell of a lot less. And that I know what I'm talking about, because my one friend, Matt, he had insurance. He paid out of pocket because he's self-employed. He has his own company. So he basically has to buy insurance, for himself. And by doing so, though, it was a little expensive, but not that bad. But he had really good insurance. For what he was paying, he had excellent insurance. Well, the insurance company told him for the plan he had, my friend, because he had like certain things he had to go to the hospital, for one thing or another. They said that we can no longer offer you this plan that we've been given to my friend Matt for so many years because it got too expensive for the insurance company to give him that plan. So he didn't have it. So this is also happening with companies now that are, there's certain people, like I worked for companies part-time, I worked for companies full-time, and I never really had any insurance because you never had to buy it before, or it wasn't shoved down your throat like it is now with these companies. They're forced to give you insurance. Our company always offered insurance. The company I work for, they just automatically offer you insurance, and it was covered by our union. But now it's just gotten like they really basically placed the thumb screws, the government, on these places, and they made it so difficult that it's gotten very costly, not only for the individual but also for the companies. So the companies are getting screwed, the individuals getting screwed. That's the bottom line. So it's a lose-lose situation, and there's no other way to put it. So, let's see. So, yeah, but in our new contract, by the way, it just basically says that, oh, well, you can't afford insurance? That's all right, because if you, or if you cost too much, I'm sorry, if you can't afford insurance, yeah, you're going under Obamacare. But, oh, yeah, we are offering individuals, it actually said that if you're, going to, be too costly. I'm putting in my own words. If you're too costly, you're going to go under the quote-unquote the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare. That's our company and our new contract. But that was thrown in there, folks, like literally on Thursday. Now, I was not at work on Thursday. In fact, I was heading down towards Blairstown that afternoon. So I didn't head to work. I was heading down Blairstown until Saturday night when I came home. I was actually supposed to be there until just yesterday. So that's number one. They made some other changes. Like I said, my dad, I actually emailed him a copy of this new contract. And he basically said something on a line that he said that yeah, they're laying off jobs and stuff. People are going to be vote on this. And he said the company I work for, they made sure, this is no joke, they made sure that they gave everybody who wanted like overtime. I was the only one who wasn't offered it, but everybody who wanted overtime got it hand over fist. They got more overtime than they could. It was like coming out of their pores. They had so much overtime. And he said the company I work for, what they were doing is our company was stockpiling all this stuff with the hopes that eventually that our union brothers and sisters would just say, listen, you know what, this is such a shitty contract that you're offering us. We're going to go out on strike. We're going to walk. We're not going to even sign this piece of fucking shit. Well, you know, that's what they wanted, because then they would have just locked us out. So again, this is a lose-lose situation, by the way. So we have no choice but to sign for this piece of garbage that they're going to hand to us today, this afternoon. Now, the whole butt of this whole thing is, though, if we sign for it, we're either way, we're either noosing ourselves or we're basically we're going to destroy ourselves either way. Because in one way, we're fucked. The other way, we're just fucked. So either way, and what they did is they sugarcoated it too. If you looked at this contract that we were offered, they offered us this really lovely, hefty bonus. I mean, like something that was just ridiculous amount of money, which most people said, oh, it's not that much money at all. For me, it's a lot of money. Trust me. No matter how I look at it, it's a lot of money, because I'm going to be, if I somehow miraculously get this sign-on bonus for our contract, the first thing I'm going to do, because I need to have this, no joke, I'm going to pay off the rest of the remainder of my car. I owe like a couple grand on my car. I'm going to pay it off, because that way at least I have some type of collateral. I need that. I need to have something I can, fall back on, because I need a car to get another job. I don't care if it pays shit, which it will. I'm going to need a car, so I can't have my car taken away from me, because then I won't have a job. That's a given, because there's nowhere around me in walking distance at this point. Literally nothing around here in walking distance. That is going to, help me, make me financially stable. I mean, I'll probably have to get something that, even if I do, the way these people freaking drive around here, even if the job was right around the corner, I would still want to take a car just for the one fact. I don't want to get ran over by some idiot driver. That's another thing I want to bring up, too. But, yeah, so I definitely need the car, so I'm going to pay that off if this goes through. But if we sign, which I think we will, I think a majority of people have no choice. Like I said, you either sign or you're fucked either way. You might as well take the least painful way. We're going to use less KY or Vaseline on your ass when you get fucked up the ass from this contract. That's the only choice you really have at this point. This is no joke. I wish I was joking. I really do. So the least is just to sign for it and just, take it for what it's worth, which is going to be pretty painful. It really is, this contract that we're going to be forced to sign for. It's like that old joke, basically. If you ever read that, there's cartoons called The Far Side, and the one guy's in hell, and Satan's like telling him, or, the devil's telling this guy, would you like Inferno or non-Inferno? And then he says, just joking, they're both Inferno. Like, there is no difference. Well, that's basically what our contract's going to consist of. I wish I was joking, but it It really is not going to be much better than that. Because we signed for this thing, there's going to be people. I thought my dad said it was at least 30, but I thought he also said it could have possibly been only 8. Doesn't matter. 8 people. It's what I call a ripple effect. You know, you put a pebble in a pond and it ripples out and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. It's the same idea that, okay, 8 people are going to be dispersed from their jobs and they don't want to leave. They, don't want to leave the job. And I'm actually also very screwed at this point too, according to my dad, because my dad mentioned that the job I work at, if you have less than 25 years at that job, you're fucked. And I only have like 14 years. It's better than a lot of people, but I'm still fucked either way you look at it. Not as quite as bad. The bleeding's not going to be as much coming out of my ass as other people because they're going to basically be on the street or whatever. That could be the possibility. But I'm trying to explain that really quickly because it is getting kind of late too. It's going to be like 5 o'clock. If you do get bumped from your job, like these 8 people that get dispersed, it's either going to be 8 or 30. I don't know. If it's 8, it's going to be like 24. If it's 30, it's going to be like 90 people. That's what I mean by ripple effect. Because for every person being bumped out of their job, there's going to be 3 other people looking for other jobs. And eventually what ends up happening is the last person, it's like those, I think I mentioned this before, the last person standing, like when you play musical chairs and you pull one chair out and then there's less chairs and then somebody is out of the game. Well, you're not going to be out of the game. You're going to be out of a fucking job. That's bottom line. They're going to call it layoff, but it means you better be looking for another job because you're not coming back. The bottom line. And most people, they're going to hear me and say, you know what the fuck you're talking about. Hey, I came back again. It's like, yeah, but look at what's going on in this country right now. The amount of people who can't find work or just don't want to work. I know they're 2 different things, but there's a lot of people who just can't work. There's no jobs out there available, bottom line. And the reason is because, I've heard this from a friend at work and other people. All these jobs literally are going to outsiders from other countries. They basically will hand a job to a person from another country, an illegal immigrant, before they hand a job to us. So you're the one who's going to get basically screwed at them because the foreigner who comes in from another country is getting free housing. They're also getting free transportation. They're getting a free brand new car, free cell phone. Government assistance on food and other things. They're actually basically encouraged to procreate because the more offspring they have, that's more votes for the Democrats in the very end. That's all they care about, But for us U.S. citizens, we're the ones who end up on the streets, no job, no nothing. No place to live, no car, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we're fucked. So with this new contract that we're going to sign for, again, my dad, I thought he said 30, and then I thought he said 8. Either way, it's going to lead to other people without jobs. No ifs, no ends, no buts. That's the end of story. So that's problem. That's kind of like problem number 1. I don't know why I'm laughing about it, but what else can I do? Oh, God, this is funny, folks. I have to read this really fast. Somebody put up, tag a friend who is pussy whipped. So I'm going to have to send this to a friend as a joke. I should send it to the friend's brother. Sorry about that, stepping away from my mic. But, yeah. Oh, wait. Guy wrote me back again. Okay, now the guy's telling me they sold me the bad product. He says, you can choose the second one, activate it by phone, and then send me a screenshot. I will send you a confirmation ID immediately. Okay, I'll have to do that later on. I will do that. So I will do this after I do my show. So yeah, I want to actually get that done soon too. Let me see. So yeah, there's going to be people that are, once we sign this contract, it's going to lead into a good considerable amount of layoffs. Bottom line, it's already been said, but they brought this issue up after a few days ago, knowing that people wouldn't have time to react or probably wouldn't even look at it. They probably think, well, it's probably not going to be that much of a change. No, there were some major changes. Layoffs were definitely in there that weren't in there before, because my father read over the thing more closely than I did, and then a couple other things obviously were placed in this contract that weren't there before, and it was at our union's discretion. They just did not want to disclose it with the people. So what they actually are saying, our union, they posted it online for us to read. Basically, they're trying to scare us, which is the truth. They're trying to scare us by saying, hey, listen, look what's happened in Verizon in Pennsylvania, like up, I think it's in Lansdale or something, Pennsylvania, Lansdale, whatever, that Verizon's been out now without pay. They've been striking for over a month now. They're just trying to give us a scare tactic. It is the truth. Don't get me wrong. And I guess that scare tactic is like just to let you know, hey, look, this is what you're going to be heading into if you do decide to strike. You're going to be out without pay for over a month, maybe longer, maybe even 6 months, because there's some union places around here that have been out for a very, very long time, like 6 months, different unions around here. So it's a good scare tactic. It's actually an honest one. So we're screwed either way. We have to take this. But just the repercussions are going to be pretty bad. They're going to be not very pleasant, because there is going to be people losing their jobs in the very end. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I was jumping around. This guy who wrote me back now, he's just trying to get this resolved at my expense, not his. Oh, wow. Somebody put up something on my woman, the one I love so much. I'm going to have to see if I can share this now, if there's a way. Melanie Martinez. I love that girl. She is so cute, too. So, she has something up. I haven't seen anything. She must be... I thought I heard... Well, she's got to be doing something new. She should be at this point, I guess. It's not been that long. It's been long enough for me, I get. Now playing a session with Melanie Martinez at Babel Music. She's only 20 years old, too. That's unbelievable. She's really talented, in fact, that girl. So I'm going to kind of speed up the process right now. Wish me luck tomorrow, because I should be done at a decent time, I hope. I think this thing's going to go on for hours, so I got to get there to make sure I get inside sign in so I can vote for our contract. I just know it's going to be really bad. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's just the way it's going to be. And at this point, we really don't have a leg to stand on. We have to take what they're going to give us. That's the bottom line. But again, it's going to be a lot of repercussions that people aren't going to like. They should just be happy, honestly, they have a job at this point, because a lot of people can't say that. Ooh, I haven't seen her in a long time. Oh, no, it's somebody else. I thought it was this girl I really like from Australia. I haven't seen her post anything lately. That's weird. So, yeah, again, I got to speed up the process. I got to get this straightened out with this guy from this program as well. Oh, God, this is funny. Some guy is literally making a joke out of choking the chicken. He's got a rubber chicken, and he's pretending to be screwing it, but he's literally choking it at the same time. It's the funniest thing I've ever saw. I thought it was pretty funny. And that was on Facebook. So I'm trying to go through certain things I wanted to mention. Well, one was I got this new computer, like I mentioned. Oofa. Sorry, I'm easily distracted. There was something on Daily Mail, it says, sleazy Shane Warne caught Sexton again at some girl. She actually looks kind of skanky, but in a good way. So, actually, she just looks plain skanky, but in a good way. That's what you call a screenshot kind of thing. She's got, like, big breast implants that are obviously beyond fake, and she looks like she needs a lesson on how to put lipstick on. But you know what a lot of lipstick probably means for her. No puns intended. Yeah, she definitely is on an older woman, but with big implants, the whole, what do you call it, skank look, though. In a pretty good way, too. Really hot-looking way. See, like I said, I get easily distracted, folks. Yeah, let's just say, I can't wait to devour you. Sleazy Shane Warne caught Sexton again as the message between him and Brian Elston or something. I don't know how you pronounce that. Reveals he did know Pavarotti was at her home when he tried to hook up with her. Is that Brian or Brain? Brynnne. I have no fucking clue how you pronounce it. She's not like the most attractive looking girl, but she is like on the skank level. Yeah, she's off the charts. She's actually hot in a skanky way, a very skanky way though. So, and then they got some article. I might have to post this on Chloe, the chick who played in. I think she played in the remake of Let the Right One In, the American version, but she also played in, she's really grown up a lot, though. I remember being just that little kid in playing that superhero. Oh, God, I can't remember the name of it now. Let me just look up her profile. Skinny jeans on, too. Let me just, and I really, folks, I got to finish this show, and I did another horrible interview. Yeah, she was in Carrie, Kick-Ass. That was the one I was trying to think of. I thought she was in also some other thing, View 30 More. Let Me In from the Let the Right One In. The original version's much, much better. Her version wasn't too bad. But yeah, Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2, she was Punk Girl or something like that. I can't remember. She was like 13 years old. She's not much older now. She's only 5'4". Actually, she's 19. She's an old bag now. She's almost pushing 20. Wow. I'm being sarcastic, folks. I hope you know. So anyway, I got to get myself back into focus, which is really impossible at this point because I want to get some certain things done. I got something that's not correctly. So I actually shut down. I'm not going to look at any more pictures and get myself all worked up. So, actually, wait a minute. There was a reason I had all this stuff open. So, yeah, I actually went down to Blairstown, spend $30 on a ticket. I got a free T-shirt out of the drawer. I'm actually wearing it tonight. It's 2016 Blairstown celebration of the original movie that was shot in Blairstown. The only one that was shot in Blairstown was the original one, by the way. So let me go back to my page. I'm not going to be able to pull up any of these pictures now. So I kind of hit a couple places. It rained every freaking day. I left on Thursday. Thursday was the only day it did not rain. When it stopped raining, actually on Saturday night around 8 o'clock, it's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm leaving now. I'm not going to wait until tomorrow morning to come back. So I actually came back on Saturday, but I was actually really angry too because I didn't think I was going to, honestly, I didn't go down there for the sole purpose of doing a podcast. I really did not. But I said to myself, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to bring my stuff along. I want to see if I can do a podcast or even doing a podcast with these people, this one guy in particular who set up this whole thing that he decided about 3 years ago. Hey, you know what? I'm going to find out because I actually work at this camp, which I can't pronounce the name, Nabasku or something like that. I said that totally wrong. I realized that, by the way. But this campground, he said, he came up with the idea, why don't I do tours, and I'll charge people, and the donations will go towards the kids, and fixing up the campground. And it was like, okay, I'll do that. It was $100, and he said he actually wanted to go further, and he actually said, well, I'm trying to work on. He's been trying to do this for a while. He said, I'm probably even going to just try to see if I can, we could do overnight. Like if we do one of these, he only sets these things up for some stupid reason on Friday the 13th. It's like, dude, even a friend of mine said he should be doing this more often. They can make so much fucking money on if they have the campgrounds closed down, this particular, Boy Scout camp. If they did it all year round, not just on Friday the 13th, they'd be making shitloads of money because they get people from all around the world. When I went to the previews, it was at this place, by the way, called Roy's Hall. Believe it or not, I did an interview with the new owner of Roy's Hall. I should check that up because I apologize. I do forget the guy's name. He was really nice. He was actually, the poor guy was running on empty. Like he hadn't eaten anything. The guy was like just exhausted. And here's me, some shithead, coming up to the guy and say, Mark Clifford, hey, can I do an interview with you? And I just basically pounded the guy until he said yes. So, Mark, I have to thank him 100 times over. Unfortunately, my mic setup was not properly set up. So his mic, he sounded really good. Mark sounded incredible. My voice sounded like total dog shit. You couldn't even hear me. But you know what? I don't care because I was there to interview somebody. You hear me 7 days a week. You don't need to hear me. My ratings went down to like 1 now because there's nothing new. But that's all right. I don't really care. And it's been costing me an arm and a leg for these promotions anyway. I've been putting way too much money into it. But I am over 107 over 7,000. I hit the 7,000 mark just the other day. But yeah, now I'm actually at 7,107 listeners from when I first started doing my very first podcast with Spreaker. That's not an awful lot for most people. Actually, that's not even a scratch on a flea's back. But for me, that's like, God, I won the lottery. So I do appreciate that. And by the way, the one I did with Mark got 16 hits, but I hate to tell you, about three-quarters of those hits were all me. I know that for a freaking fact because I kept on listening to my own show. So, by the way, I've hit, like, the top countries I've hit now is actually up to about 7. United States, France, Poland, United Kingdom, Croatia, Canada, and Vietnam. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, exactly. Coatesville, PA is the listeners around here. Philadelphia, PA. Woodbridge, New Jersey. That could have been me. I have no clue. Telford, PA. Mountain View, California. Allentown, PA. Montgomeryville, PA. Glen Olden, PA. I apologize. No, actually, yeah, the 2% is me. Yes, I did it because I listened to it deliberately so many times, just to make sure it would go on there. I actually got Blairstown, PA on there. Muncie, PA. I don't know who the fuck that is. So I'm kind of quite pleased for myself because I listened to it literally like I think about 8 times at least. So I am like ecstatic that I actually got myself to, because I wanted to see Blairstown actually show up, and it did. So I'm actually very, very, very pleased on that fact. It was a really horrible interview on my part, but who did I just say again? He did a really good job. The guy, thank you. Let me show you. Mark. Let me make sure I get his name right again. Mark, once again, if you listen to any shows past that one with you, you did an incredible job. I do want to thank you. My time of getting sleep is running out, unfortunately. But, yeah, thank you so much, Mark, for doing that interview. I apologize I didn't do a better job, but I just didn't want to hold you up. He gave me a good 15 minutes, and, hey, dude, I appreciate that. So the only thing that got me really mad, I was pissed for days. I'm not even kidding. I was like pissed for days. It's only been like a day or so. No, I was angry as all fucking hell because the guy who runs this tour thing and even sets it up with Mark and everything, that's where that's what I wanted to interview, was this guy and his family. And he for some reason, he gave me a completely cold shoulder very quickly. Like, you know what? He basically walked the other way. He just ignored me. He's like, dude, I give you my money. I literally give you my money. I spend money on the trinkets he gives out and everything. I do it because it's a donation. I hope it is, because I'm kind of questioning it. And in return, you literally treat me like a piece of shit. So I wasn't too appreciative of that. It's like, okay, well, am I that much of a prick that you just have to treat me like... And I know for a fact, that's why I don't care that I'm saying this now, that I'll be like on the very bottom anymore. I will be on the complete bottom. I'm not going to even get close to... The next time, I think, is not until January that they're going to do a tour, because that's when the next Friday the 13th is. And trust me, I'll tell you right now, this guy will not... He will make sure that I won't even get near that campground, just because I think I pissed him off so much. The dude that runs, what do you call it? Who runs this, this tour on what is known as Camp Crystal Lake. Well, that I can remember. That he's going to make sure that I won't even be able to step ground probably eventually in Blairstown. He'll make sure of that too. You know, I'll be in their small little post office in that street that is called Blairstown. Her make sure that my face is in that post office. If you see this guy, make sure you call the police, Blairstown police, that he gets escorted off Blairstown property. Because I'm sure at this point I probably pissed him off that much. Not saying the guy has that much power. I don't know. Maybe he does. But for some reason, he just made sure that I would not talk to him or his wife or his kids, because, I was like somebody who, like, I was like the Walking Dead walking up to him and his family members. And it kind of came through in a most entertaining way, literally on my podcast, because when I was interviewing Mark tried to get the guy's wife to, at least kind of, say something about, their knowledge on Friday the 13th, and she would not say. She did say something, but she kind of said, "Oh, I'm just a passerby," or something like that. So the bottom line is, they kind of made sure. At least this guy is my assumption. This guy made sure that I would not talk to him or his wife. And it's like, dude, that's not exactly, in my opinion, professional. But, hey, you're the one. And he's like, he basically responded. He said at first he was going to do an interview or let somebody else do an interview. And then he just gave me, like, the total blow-off, which kind of got me really mad. Like, literally gave me the blow-off. And, it was like, okay, I think it's a cool idea what you're doing. I've been a big Friday the 13th fan for almost, I think when that first movie came out, that was 1980. I was like 18 years old. So I'm like pushing 50. So yeah, it's been 37 years. So I was maybe 14. I don't know. But it's like, dude, I probably saw the first film before you were even fucking born. But that's besides the point. I do appreciate this guy doing what he decided to do, which is, kind of like, start this thing 3 years ago. I think it's a great idea, but in one way, but in another way, oh God, I have to respond to this. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Now I can't find it either. They have this high school prom. It was on Saturday, May 14th. Okay, this guy's really getting scared from who I bought this program from on eBay. It was in Allentown, it says, the prom. This one guy literally has a mullet haircut. Oh, wow. They already removed it. The guy got in trouble, I guess. It says, "Hello, Walter. We are writing to let you know that we've removed the item that you receive in one Microsoft Office. So I hope I get a refund. Yeah, because I don't want to be out money. Yeah, I'll have to write them and ask for a refund. The guy got in trouble, I guess. Oh, well. Sorry about that, dude. I don't know. I'll try to email the guy and see if he can still get him disactivated. So, anyway, he didn't know I was doing a podcast, probably. So, item was removed. Yeah, so what was I going to say anyway, folks? Yeah, this one guy at this prom had a mullet haircut. This was just Saturday the 14th. I mean, it's not like 30 years ago. This is just like the other day, so that was funny. But, yeah, that part, by the way, again, thank you, Mark Clifford, and I don't want to ruin anything for this guy who sets up these tours, in Blairstown. I think it's a great idea, but your best thing is he seemed a little like nerved by me asking him, hey, can I just interview? For a podcast, literally only about 5 people at any given time, 3 people, one person listens to, and that would be me, listens to at any given time. On a daily basis, it's just one person. That's me. So you're going to make my life a living hell, and you're helping me out. I'm not helping you. Trust me, you're helping me, dude. But your response is just to give me a freaking hard time and just be as ignorant as possible. It's like, wow, you just made me not really... I didn't even know Blairstown existed. Honestly, I never thought about it until my friend Todd actually introduced me. He actually ran through the town, not realizing, hey, wait, this is Blairstown. This is where they shot. It was in that direction, my friend. For some reason, and he drove through Blairstown. I was like, oh, hey, this is where they shot Friday the 13th. He didn't realize it. He looked it up and was like, Blairstown, what the fuck's that? He looked it up and was like, oh, that's where, I mean, you could walk through in 5 minutes from one end of Blairstown to the next. That's how small it is. So, but this guy, hey, you started getting like people coming in from all over the place, all over the country, all over the world. And, did you ever not think that this would be something that you're going to attract a lot of people? Not just, you're actually putting Blairstown on the map, which was great. But, don't burn your bridges, dude. No puns intended, because one of the big things is there's a bridge in Blairstown that was actually used in the film. I think it was like 2 different ones. Whatever. So, and I even said to these people, do you realize that every movie is based upon one Blairstown, every movie taking place, or at least Camp Crystal Lake, which is that it's not really called that. I just don't know how to pronounce it correctly. But every single movie is based off of that Boy Scouts camp in Blairstown. So by you, just acting that way, a friend of mine, I said what happened, he said stuff that wasn't very kind on the way the person from Blairstown who puts on these tours really turned him off. He said, dude, that guy is so-and-so, and it wasn't very nice. And it's like, yeah, I kind of felt that way. I just try to, play a good sport about it. The guy wasn't being very nice to me. He was actually being a little bit arrogant, but that's on him, not me. I'm not doing anything harmful. I'm just simply asking, hey, I just asked for a few questions. How did you set this up? It sounds like a cool idea. If you don't want to answer my questions, what is reason for that? There's got to be something behind that, why you're being so nasty to me when I'm not being nasty to you. That's all I'm responding on. So, so there was that. That just left a bad taste in my mouth. I did get some photos. I guess for the most part, I'd have to say that people seem pretty friendly there otherwise in Blairstown. Do I regret the trip? No, actually, in some ways, I don't. I did enjoy myself. And by the way, I put up a picture because it was funny. I wanted it for the trip, and I didn't get it until I got home. But I bought this Jason Voorhees mask that has blue stripes on the mask. And that one is from Friday the 13th, Part 5, where a human being actually was playing Jason Voorhees in the movie itself. Like the guy pretended to be Jason, but it was a real guy. It wasn't Jason himself, so to speak. So it's not like, okay, yeah, it's an actor anyway. No, the movie itself had the actor playing a human being playing Jason Voorhees in the movie itself. So there's a big difference. So I have my diplomas on the wall, and I do have this thing I got from the guy who puts on these tours, this frame that I definitely put cost me a hefty price to buy it. But I did it. I did it for this guy. It's cool, but it kind of makes me scratch my head. If this guy is being, this touchy on me just asking, can I ask a few questions for a podcast that nobody fucking listens to? There's obviously a little bit more going on than what leads. I'm trying to think of the proper terminology. The leads to you probably get my drift. There's more going on than what appears to be on the surface of this whole matter. I did get some better pictures. Unfortunately, I take, which actually is better. I just don't want to ruin my camera. That the pictures I got, I even have this cemetery in Hope. The pictures I got just on, trying to think, on Saturday, there was an overcast. It was raining, actually, but it wasn't really raining. It was just like drizzling. But the problem is you don't want to ruin your camera. I actually had an umbrella. I almost got hit by a couple people. They were actually girls that were driving so fast. It's like, okay, you're in a couple-ton car, and you see me trying to take pictures, so you accelerate and try to run me over. That makes so much sense. That would be the first thing on my mind. Okay, run this guy over who has a camera and who is walking on the side of the street. So you should drive off the side of the road and try to kill that guy. That would be me. So that part, I didn't. That was in Hope, by the way. These people, like the women act like I'm going to rape them. Okay, you're in a car going 100 fucking miles an hour and you almost run me over. That makes so much fucking sense. What a fucking idiot. One girl, actually, a couple girls did that. They were all females. They were driving. Today, I actually was got in an accident. Some idiot was driving, talking on his phone, this young kid. I didn't get into that part, but there's something about cars I had to get into. And he almost head-on collision. He was on his cell phone talking to the phone and driving like really fast. This was over actually in my neck of the woods here of Trooper. Literally in front of Walmart. He literally almost ran right into me, head-on collision. So that's lovely. Now, the part that really pisses me off about a lot of this stuff, by the way, since I haven't mentioned it yet, is my car insurance. I got hit by a deer, and my insurance went up ever so slightly, like a few bucks. Not that much. Nothing like that sets off, a warning thing. Hey, Walter, even though it wasn't your fault, you better watch yourself with these deer, even though they run out of nowhere. So it only went up a few bucks. I mean, it very little. So, and I think 2 pay periods went by since I've had this car accident with a deer. Literally 2 pay periods. So that was a year ago that I got hit by a car, sometime last year, to say the least. So I got my insurance that's due in June for this year. And you know what this is all about. Guess what? My insurance now went up, by the way. Not just a little bit, but by $40. $40 now. I'm paying almost $400 for 6 months, where it only cost me like $360 something before. So why did it go up so much? Well, guess why? This is my hunch. It's because you got so many people that I even saw today who are unemployed, who don't have jobs, who who are not looking for jobs, who are basically just living on. I seen a guy today who basically had no money, little money, I should say, to say the least. And basically, he was in Walmart, and he was using a gift card to buy whatever he had. He barely had enough cash to pay for the rest. Literally had no cash. A young guy. He should have been, had a job, and he had a gift card he got for his birthday, so he was buying stuff he needed. But most people either use, the food stamp cards to buy stuff in there, or, gift cards that they get given to them for some reason or another, but not their own money or in cash. Seriously, they don't use any credit cards that they haven't maxed out yet. That's the last thing you're going to see them use because they maxed them all out. So, that was interesting. So these are the people that can't afford insurance. The same thing like with Obamacare. You got these people with the cell phones and cell phone services, the cost of that has gone through the roof too. But who's paying for who's paying for people's car insurance? Who's paying for people's cars? Who's paying for people's housing? When they want to buy a house that they can't afford, who's paying for their other luxuries? We are. And how are we paying for them? Well, the cost of our expenses go through the roof, why these other people aren't paying a dime. Like they're, again, they're procreating. They are getting free contraceptives. They are getting free housing, free cars, free cell phones, free internet, everything free. And it basically just gets prorated, or not prorated, but the cost gets added on to our expenses, our cost. So the higher insurance you're paying that is like useless because it doesn't get anywhere, you're just forced to pay for it. And this other ridiculous stuff for cars and everything else and the insurance if they get in an accident, that cost is now literally coming out of our pockets. And I proved that now. I can show you the bills for the last 2 years on my car insurance, and I can show you how it heavily increased amongst everything else that I'm paying for on bills. And yet I'm supposed to be the one not only supporting all these people, but I should be the one held responsible and accountable for making our economy thrive, work, pay for everybody else, and just suffer, to the bitter end while everybody else is just basically partying, doing goofy shit, and being the most irresponsible amount of people in the United States. And I hate to say it, I was in Walmart today, by the way, and these people were obviously, you could tell they were migrants because I could tell they couldn't speak English, and I'll just say they weren't the typical, they were in there too, by the way, Latinos who don't speak English. They were of another nationality, and they were not speaking. They didn't even know English. Because I even said, excuse me, they didn't even know how to say that. They didn't understand what I was saying in Walmart. So that was a disaster. I had to walk around people like I'm the person who shouldn't be in a place in an area where I grew up my whole entire life. I'm not entitled to be there anymore. Like I should be the subservient one, even though these other people are from other countries, basically destroying everything around here in Trooper and King of Prussia now. I mean, they've destroyed everything else. Now they just moved on to bigger and better, smaller and other places that they didn't hit before. They're basically milking them dry. Us. So that's a problem. And by the way, I did hear, this is no joke, on Rush Limbaugh, which I thought was actually pretty funny. It was the third hour, the beginning of his third hour. I was actually going to put the soundbite on here. It is an hour and 2 hours almost now, and it's going on 5 o'clock, after 5. I'll be done at 6. I can see the sun come up now, too. Rush was actually saying that whole thing, by the way, just to let you know, about that. I'm trying to think how, hey, these transgender bathrooms, that's being made into a big deal. Well, it is a big deal because guess what happened? Rush Limbaugh said just the other day, I swear to God, it was the beginning. You don't even have to go in. Just go in the third hour of Friday's show of Rush Limbaugh, and you will hear it right away. Guess what happened? A young girl, she was minding her own business. A little girl, she lost her mom for a second. I guess she wanted to run to the bathroom or something. Some guy, a man, choked her until she passed out, and then had taken her into the bathroom so he could basically molest her or rape her. And I think the girl was only like 8 years old. So there you go. These transgender bathrooms, this is what you're going to be heading into. A friend actually made a joke, which was true. Hey, ladies, you want these transgender bathrooms, you want to support transgenders going in your bathroom. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to get piss and seats that are lifted and piss all over the seats. So, and it was funny when he put that picture up, and it's like, you know what? You're absolutely right, dude. That drives me crazy when I see people, you go in the bathroom, especially in the men's room, and you got piss all over the seat and the seat's up, and you got to do a sit-down job, like you got to take a dump, and you can't because you got to basically disinfect the seat you're going to sit on first. Well, ladies, that's what you're going to end up doing. And you're going to say, well, the women who are coming into the ladies' room are actually, they were men, but now they're women. Well, guess what? Most of these guys who get these operations done, they keep their tackle gear left on. So they will still be doing a stand-up job and pissing and crap all over the seats anyway. So rude awakening, it's not going to change. That fact's not going to change. What's going to change is now you're going to have that in your restroom as well as ours, as a male. So, hey, good luck with that. I hope you enjoy the fact that, ladies, this is what basically what you asked for. So you got, you basically got it. So I hope you enjoy that part too. So it is getting late, but yeah, that whole thing about my insurance going up $40 now. It's going to cost $400 just for car insurance, which originally only cost me a little over $300. So that's more than $40. But I'm just trying to make a point. It's not going to stop there. Today, like I said, I'm going to have to sign for some hideous contract that's basically useless. Won't even be able to wipe your ass with it, but we're going to have to take it. We have no choice. And amongst other stupid things. And it's just, people aren't going to learn. I mean, if they vote for her, I think they are, which will probably be Hillary Clinton, God, we are really fucked. We will be, third world countries will laugh at us at that point. So, I just needed to kind of vent. The weekend was interesting. I missed out on the comic convention, by the way. And I got other things to kind of sort out right now. So anyway, folks, I do really need to sign off. I apologize if I missed anything tonight. I hope I didn't. But as always, I hope you enjoyed what I did because it is going on after 5. And I need to 5 a.m. I need to rest up for a couple hours so I can do this thing today. And thanks if you are listening to me and if you enjoy what I talk about, that's cool. I apologize for the short segment, but I do appreciate. God, I forgot his name again. I believe it was Mark. Let me look at it again because seeing the sun come up is not fun. Give me a minute. Episodes. Mark Clifford. Yeah, Mark, thank you so much for that. He was a big influence for me. I just have a difficult time because it's like pulling teeth to get somebody to do an interview with me. That's the part that I hate. So thanks again. This is Walter from iWalter signing off for now. Enjoy your Monday morning on May 16th. So thanks again.